Hey guys, welcome back to Tier 1 Performance. We are here for another season of interviews. Slight upgrade, Mitch. You know, we got the cameras.
I think it's a little bit more than slight.
Yeah, yeah, we balled out.
These are heavy.
Yeah. We're looking
They're
good.
quality.
We're feeling good. Good.
We're fit.
Yeah, we're fit. We got some good equipment here, you know. New cameras, new mics, new stands, new equipment. Yeah, we're trying to do it better for you guys. All right. But going on in, high school season has ended for a lot of new people. You know,
We're past the second round in TAPS and UIL baseball and softball.
yeah, for sure. It's been pretty good. It's been pretty crazy baseball out there, I'd say.
It's wild. We've got some athletes doing great things. Their seasons have come to a close. I've had several athletes reach out to me recently saying, when does the work start for college? I'm like, next week.
Next week.
Naturally,
right
take a couple days, take your mom out for Mother's Day, and then get started. Yeah. Prepare for college.
Exactly. We are sending one kid off to college, Ethan Allen. Quick shout out to Ethan Allen, hardworking kid.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid, he's come so far since his freshman year of high school.
Man.
I mean, to say that he's going to be a collegiate athlete is incredible.
At a Division I JUCO in today's world, man,
it.
like that's the right move for him.
I love
and
it.
He's 17. Doesn't turn 18 until August.
He's a young one. I know he's
Going
so
to
bright.
develop.
And I can't wait to teach him a couple more things. Like, for one thing, you know, using a drag bunt as a weapon and working on his base running, probably dial in his throwing a little bit and work on some fence balls. But I'm going to make that kid an elite outfielder. Can't wait.
I want him running a 6'4", 60.
Yeah.
Throwing 90s from the outfield with double home run power.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
without a doubt.
It
Stealing
should
bags.
be. I am very hopeful, and I'm looking forward to watching that kid progress in college.
And I don't know if I told you this yet. The recruiting coordinator, the guy who my contact, my friend, the assistant coach at Ranger, he got promoted to the head coaching spot last week.
Oh, he's the head coach
He's going to
now.
become the head coach now. So I said, Ethan, it's on you now.
Did the other coach get fired?
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah. And I was like, Ethan, dude, if this guy is the head coach and he recruited you, he's going to give you all the opportunities in the world. It's on you now. Like, it's on you to take advantage of those opportunities.
Dude, wow.
Yeah.
That is great. That is absolutely great news.
Yeah.
So going in, like, obviously you are at DBAT a little bit more now. Like, what kind of what kind of people are you seeing? What kind of kids are you dealing with? What kind of common issues are you seeing?
Yeah. Well, for the most part, the clients are ranging from age 6 to college. Predominantly, I get a lot of kids in that 9 to 12-year-old range, okay? And a lot of the issues that they're coming to me with is outside of the issues going on internally with their teams and their coaches, it's their timing. It's just timing up the pitching, especially with the 9-year-olds. The biggest change in their career from a youth standpoint is from coach pitch to kid pitch. So realizing, hey, they're not trying to throw it to your barrel, they're trying to strike you out, and they're going to try to mix up pitches. I mean, most 9-year-olds only throw a fastball, and they don't really know where it's going half the time. So I think the battle for most 9-year-olds is the fear of the ball hitting them.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. And then, so they're balanced.
Being uncomfortable in the box.
Uncomfortable, their weight's back on their heels, they're flying everything open, and they're either walking or striking out for the most part.
Yeah, my biggest issue with my 9-year-olds, and I have a plethora of 9-year-olds, and I feel like this 9-year-old generation, like this 9-year-old class, is super talented and super good. Like, I have more 9-year-olds than I do 10-year-olds, 8-year-olds, all that stuff, and I mean, I have like 6 or 7 really good 9-year-olds, but my biggest issue with them as far as hitting is staying through the zone as long as possible, which is a hard concept for a kid to grasp. Like, I'm not trying to bag on them. They are very good students. They are very good players. I mean, they listen to me. But it's very hard for them to grasp because a lot of kids want to do what? Like, pull that shoulder out,
100%.
Not lead with their hips, whatever, and they want to immediately exit the strike zone as soon as they get into it. And like trying to teach these kids to go through the zone and extend all the way as long as possible, then exit, it's a very hard thing to do.
I think there's 4 main key points that any father out there can just coach their kid on, and that's keeping their hands up and back, which closes their front shoulder off,
Right.
rotating their back hip, extending their hands to the zone, and finishing over their shoulder.
Yeah, finishing over.
If you can do those 4 things, it prevents so many bad habits from forming.
You'd be surprised how many kids finish around their shoulder or like down.
Oh, they're
here.
chopping.
Yeah,
they're hitting the ball on the
down.
ground or swinging on top of that ball. So
Yeah, I mean, I have kids do like a certain set of drills. So like for one instance, like for people back home who are working with their kids, whether he's 5, 6, 10, all the way to high school, when they're working on a tee for the most part, they need to be hitting certain pitches at certain positions. Like, so if you're setting a tee middle, it needs to be in the middle of the plate. I usually put mine at the front of the plate, but in the middle of the plate, right?
yeah,
Inside needs to go forward into the inside part, inner half of the plate.
Yeah.
It needs to go forward, not just immediately to the left side if you're a righty, right?
Yeah.
And then also if you're going away, it needs to go to the back part of the plate on the outside. And a lot of people don't realize these are where you need to make contact with the ball.
visually seeing your contact points.
Yes.
That's the first thing I do with kids, and they roll their eyes when I bring the tee out sometimes. But I'm like, guys, if you don't master the tee, how in the hell are you going to hit a moving pitch?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like one thing at a time. Like big leaguers use the tee.
Everybody uses the tee.
uses
No
the
one
tee.
just goes walks
Nobody's
in.
above the tee.
Yeah.
Nobody's above the tee.
No one's gonna walk in. No, like even if you were played professionally, collegiately, nobody just walks in and goes straight into BP.
No.
You warm up off the tee, get your bearings together, get your form right.
Yes.
Then you go in and move on. But like a lot of people don't realize that. I have them do those 3 spots: middle, in, away. I also have them do high tee.
Yeah.
And then stay tuned. Also, we're gonna be putting out some videos of these drills. Also have them do high tee, which is not to teach them to chop down on the ball.
Right.
It's just to teach them to be as direct to the ball as possible. Right. I like to call it like A to B, from point A to point B.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean going down and dipping and rising it up. No, the point of the high tee is to drive that ball on a line drive straight to the back net. We're going from point A to point B, the most direct path possible.
Yeah.
And then I like to do this thing called the extension drill, which subconsciously teaches these kids to stay through the zone whether they know it or not, and also it teaches them to be direct to the ball. So like what I do is I put the tee in the middle and I go no legs, just all upper body, and I just want them to hit a line drive to the back net. After they do that successfully, I move the tee up 1 ball length, have them do it again, and I do that for 4 ball lengths.
Yeah.
And then after that, I bring it back to the beginning and I tell them to use their legs, and they should be able to drive it now with the power of their legs and drive it all the way back. And you can see like a night and day difference if they master that drill.
I've got one similar. It's called the double tee drill. You place 2 tees in front of each other, baseballs on each. They have to swing through both baseballs.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and it's fun for the kids because they're like, oh, I need to hit both balls off the tee. And, especially like the younger ones. But I do it with my high school kids too. And I mean, that's a drill I kind of used towards the end of my career. And I was like, wow, it kept me extending through the zone.
I also learned from the Yankees, a couple of Yankee players when I was up north, that there was this drill where you have it's usually like 3 tees, but you're in your stance and you have 1 tee on a high plane, and then another tee on the middle plane, and then you have the tee you're supposed to hit with the ball on it, and that just basically guides your bat to the direct point of the ball, right? And then you extend through, and you also have another tee at the end, or not another tee. You also have like another plate, so you can kind of like visualize extending all the way, and you want your bat to cross both plates. And that basically, it's just a gigantic guide of your bat. And if you hit the tee, you know how inefficient your swing is, right? If you see that, like if you're filming yourself and you see that you didn't extend through both plates, then you know that you're pulling yourself out.
For sure.
And it's like, I thought that was a really cool drill. Of course, it's exhausting to have like 3 tees and 2 plates, and setting that shit up.
Not everyone has access to it.
Yeah, but that's another drill that's more of a like elaborate, extreme drill, but I did that also in college. Kind of like the same thing with your 2 tee drills.
Yeah, and I think the Griffey tee back in the 90s was a similar thing. Like it had like this circular structure, and you had to like keep your barrel from
right there.
I mean, and that kind of like, I want to cover the point of knob to ball, right? Because you hear coaches just say knob to ball, which yes, the first half of your swing is knob to the ball, but you hit the ball with the barrel, not the knob. So I see a lot of kids making the mistake of leading to the ball so much with their hands that the barrel drags, and that's usually due to multiple factors, one of them being their hips are slow getting through the zone, but the other is they never turn their top wrist through the zone when they swing. So their barrel is just lagging behind and they're flaring everything to the opposite field side. So I'm careful about saying knob to ball because I'm more of barrel to ball because I'm like, that's what we have to get to that ball.
Yeah, I never really liked the saying knob to ball.
I never liked it, man.
Never had it. I mean,
no, I never used it.
So your knob to the ball, like, I'd be like, what? So you want me to break outside?
Correct.
And wrap around the ball? Like
it's a feel versus real thing. And I think a lot of, you see videos of big leaguers preaching hitting, which they're playing at a much higher level than we played at, so you can't say they don't know what they're talking about. But sometimes the best players don't make the best hitting instructors or coaches because the way they word things is not interpreted by kids.
Right, and also like the level of to what they're trying to explain does not apply to a 9-year-old.
No,
it also doesn't apply to a high schooler.
No,
it only applies to people at their skill set or close to it. I would say.
I would like to hear their takes on like approaches more than anything.
Yeah, actually, so I was listening to an ESPN show. I think it was like a reporter. He was asking Harrison Bader, who played. I don't know what team he's with now, but he was with the Yankees.
He was with the Cards, the Yankees. Now he's with
Diamondbacks.
Toronto.
I don't know. I know he's still there, but they were talking about his approach, and his approach is very extreme. Very analytical, very smart, and I think it's right for the MLB, but it does not apply. Well, I don't think it can apply to a college level player or a high school player because he was talking about zones, right? Mm-hmm. And when you're talking about zones, I mean, he's dealing with guys that pitch on a platform that they miss on purpose, and they throw balls on purpose, they throw strikes on purpose, and if they miss, it's by inches, not by literal like lanes.
Correct.
Right. So he says, you got to work on, hitting your zones. Like this guy specializes in slider away, slider away, slider away. I'm weak slider away, so I need to focus on that zone because he's probably going to attack you. Right. Most people are going to avoid your hot zones. They're going to try and get you out with their hot zones while hitting your cold zones. So those zones overlayer, and that's like a very in-depth and a very, I think, extremely genius way of looking at an approach. And then he takes that, but he's also skill level. And baseball IQ levels above most players, right? This is the MLB, the best of the best.
Well, and I think to simplify, it's like overtrain your weaknesses. You know what I mean? Like everyone should know, at least at the high school and college level, what pitches you have trouble hitting and what areas, what zones you have trouble hitting them in. So if you have access to a machine, which most high schoolers and college kids have access to machines, crank that machine up to like 87 mile an hour sliders away if that's a pitch you're having trouble with, or change ups away, working on your timing so that you can, because I think a lot of kids, like you asked earlier, what you see the kids are struggling with, they don't want to practice their weaknesses. They only want to practice their strengths.
Yeah.
So what are most kids' strengths? Hitting a tee down the middle, facing a machine that's throwing 70 down the middle. They don't want to face live arms in batting practice. They don't want to face different pitches. And I'm like, well, if the only time you're seeing that is in the game, good luck.
What's your take on the machine? So like, we go to D-bat and we see a lot of kids hitting off machines, just to get better. And then like, or renting out cages to use, the machines that throw different pitches. What's your take? How would you, well, I'm going to explain the way I view the machine and how I used it to my advantage, but what's your take on using the machine?
My take on the machine is it's very beneficial for two reasons, and two reasons alone. And one of them being to work different pitches, right? So if you have access to a machine that throws sliders, curveballs, changeups, it's great to see different pitches off a machine, first and foremost. Second of all, it's good to quicken your hands and get your timing down with faster velocity, right? So a lot of high schoolers going into college, you're going to see faster velo. You're going to see 90s every day for the first time. So I think cranking the machine up to 95 and getting an eye for that speed and getting accustomed to timing it up, maybe even cranking up to 100 just to see it, because if you're on time with 100 or 95, you're going to be on time with 90.
Yeah.
So I think it's great for the eye test, to train your eye and to see different pitches.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of exactly how I viewed it when I used the machine going into my senior year of high school, and throughout my whole college career. So like up to like my junior year of high school, I hated the machine. I never used it.
Yeah, never.
I'd rather use live arms, all that stuff. But what you got to realize is the machine is used to train your eyes, and it's also used to pick up the spin of the ball, see how it's moving, and most importantly, trains your reaction, right? Can you get your hands from point A to point B accurately, quickly, and react to a machine?
Yeah.
Be able to determine where that slider's going, where that curveball's going, where that fastball's going, and crank it up, crank it up. Like, yeah, you're supposed to struggle. The machine was harder than any pitcher I'd faced in high school and college.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so nasty. Especially you had that Darth Vader one that just, it could throw random ones. Like, that thing messed me up a little bit mentally, so, but like, that's what I would do. No, I would I'm up in Rhode Island. It's, January or December. I know we're gonna go play the #1 team in the nation, like to open up the series, and everyone's thinking about like popping us in the face because like they have the field 24/7. We do not. It's snowing in Rhode Island,
right?
Or it's sub 40 degrees. Like we're not gonna be able to get live, and the sun goes down at 5 o'clock. So we have the machines and we have like our teammates. We have each other. So I get like a couple of teammates and we have like late night machine hitting sessions, and I crank it up. The fastball's at 95. I work maybe 2 to 3 rounds of 10 off that, and then I go to a right-handed slider because right-handed slider is the hardest pitch for me at that time.
100%.
When I was in college, like I'd never faced guys that could throw it on command and then throw it for a ball when they want to, then throw it back for a strike and then target different zones. Like I never had that, but I had to deal with that because the prior season I led the team in strikeouts. I batted 300, but I still led the team in strikeouts. So it means if I wasn't getting a hit, I was definitely Kang.
With your speed, you need to get on base.
I need to eliminate those strikeouts and cut them down significantly, right? So I had to train hitting that slider, bump it up to 85 mile-an-hour slider, which is pretty sharp. And then like I'll do a curveball, and then I'll do like a splitter, and then I'll do the left side, a lefty curveball, lefty slider, learn about hitting it. And it wasn't me making sure I could get that perfect hit, but more like me, I can get that barrel to it. Especially like I treated it like a 2-strike approach almost. And I was just working on, if I can make contact with this, because remember, the machine is 3 wheels putting an insane amount of pressure on a ball, shooting it at a trajectory with like thousands of forces of pressure and shooting at like 85 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's like, gravity's not even affecting that. So when it hits your bat, it's a lot heavier than it will be in a game from a kid who's throwing it with his arm, right? So as soon as I was able to like square that up, maybe get a couple of good hits, potential bombs off the machine. And I mean, this took the whole month. This wasn't like, I did this 2 times for like 3 weeks and I was okay. No, I took it every day, 5 days, well, not every day, but like 5 days a week. I was on that machine outside of practice. And then next thing you know, no one could blow anything by me. And when I came back, from, winter break, came back February, we're doing live ABs in the cages and on the field. Like everyone's like, I'm the hardest out. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm raking. I'm not saying I'm hitting bombs off everyone. That's not true. But I am definitely the hardest out. I definitely will get some hits. And then you can see it. I think every single season opening game, minus my senior year, because Brady Singer had my number that day, and that third baseman for Florida had my number. But except my senior year, every season opener I had at least 1 hit. Yeah. And it was like a substantial, like clear as day hit, not some lucky like get me over swing. It was like a legitimate hit. But like, and it was all because of my preparation. And then I took that going forward. And it's a lot better for you confidence wise if you start your first season or your first game of the season off 1 for 3 versus 0 for 4, 0 for 2, 0 for 3.
And that's big coming from a northern school, coming down south to play at the beginning of the season. Like you mentioned, you have limited field access, limited like live looks. Oh, yeah. So to get that first hit on the road against the University of Florida, first game.
Right, who's ranked like number 1, or Texas A&M, who's ranked number 5, or Florida State, who's ranked like 13 or whatever at that time, I mean, we're playing teams that are going to be in the tournament, that are going to go to the World Series, guys that are going to get drafted, and 100%. You take that hit off you and you're just like, we're in the same division, motherfucker. Like, we're here. Like, just because I'm from up north does not mean I'm not ready to battle against these Southern boys.
5, 4, 3, 2,